Hello, it's I, Zanipai, and we're gonna continue where we left off with Seven Kingdoms, the Princess Problem. Uh, I just needed to have dinner for a little bit. Anyway, here we go. Let's discuss something I am learning more about. Please, tell me about yourself, Lady Inez. What you want to know? Tell your life story in a charming way. Brag about your. Just talk about yourself or random. Just talk, Prince Lyle listens to you politely. By the time you finish your aimless rambling, his polite smile is firmly in place, as if a little strained. At precisely the moment the polite amount of conversation had been reached, Prince Lyle bows and politely says he hopes to get to know you better in these coming weeks. The conversation is clearly done. Inspired by his politeness, you curtsy and leave. Who would you like to approach? Who would your count in? Earl Emmett. Earl. Okay, most of these are the. So Grand Duke Woodley. You know what? Princess Jaslyn is the weird dude. Duke Lion. Oh, I guess we should. No. Let's do Duke Lion. Lady Inez. The Duke acknowledges your approach. Unfortunate, but that your business with your cousin. You nod. Unfortunate it was indeed. The Duke sighs deeply, leaving you wondering if you have done something to offend or distress him. You both stand there in silence for an intensely awkward pause before the Duke suddenly speaks, his deep voice startling after the protracted silence. I'm sorry, Lady Inez. I confess I don't do well at parties. Perhaps it is the best if you find someone else to talk with. Aw, don't be silly. That assumes there's an objective standard of party attending performance. You smile at him, and he surprises you by relaxing his mask-like face and breaking into an unexpected laugh. A fair point, Lady Inez. A fair point indeed. Duke stares at you thoughtfully. Are you quite certain you do not want to find more agreeable conversational partner? No, I very often seek out conversation with people I in fact have no desire to talk with at all. He sighs, but in a resigned way. Very well, if you insist, but I feel I must warn you, I do quite abysmally at small talk. I do my best to avoid any diminutive topics then. What do you talk? Rapid fire intellectual discussion about a variety of topics. GL philosophy. I like rapid fire intellectual discussion of a variety of topics. To your mutual delight, you find yourselves discussing thoughts and ideas on any number of mutually interesting topics. You only just mentioned the latest treatise from the respective scholar to divert into the application of a particular philosophy, to jokingly referencing a line from a play. The faster your conversation becomes, the more animated and happy the Duke looks. It is now abundantly clear that your conversation has both pleased and impressed him. As your conversation naturally winds down, you become aware that it is time for you to say your goodbyes and talk to someone else. Even if you wanted to continue the conversation, you're already drawing curious stares. Perhaps the Duke has more of a reputation for lacking interest in polite conversation than even his protests had led you to believe. In any case, you don't want to start any rumors on your very first night. You smile, reluctantly, or not, and thank the Duke for talking with you. Of course. His answer is so quick, but you can't help but wonder if he had been hoping for the conversation to end. Certainly, of all the people you have met tonight, the Duke seems the least eager for your, or really any, company. What do you say your Duke comments? I'm happy to have met an intelligent companion here. The Duke gives you a small, sharp nod. As am I. I would wish you good evening, Lady Inez, but logically, I doubt that is much possible for either of us. The Duke bows and excuses himself, watches tall figure retreating into a dark, quiet corner, unable to shake the feeling that you are no closer to understanding what he truly is thinking than before you spoke to him. You are certain that of all the people at the summit, winning over the Duke is going to be one of the most challenging. Who would you like to approach? Let's keep going with Lady Avail. All logic dictated that Lady Avail know exactly who you were. In pure defiance of Zed's excellent logic, the lady in question watched your approach, her perfect face a picture of confusion as she made a show of trying to place you. She looks at you, her dark eyes all tentative confusion. It seems the burden to introduce yourself and start a conversation will be firmly on you. How do you introduce yourself? Friendly. You smile and hold out your hand in a friendly way. Hello, Lady Aviel. I'm Lady Inez. I'm very happy to meet you. Lady Aviel returns her smile and gingerly takes her outstretched hand with her slightly chilled ones. Oh yes, Lady Inez, of course. How positively genial you are. I had thought such openness long such a casualty of politics such gatherings like this. How delightful to be proved wrong. I confess my surprise that you would seek me out, Lady Inez. Why, there are so many people here. I was not sure anyone would notice me at all. Lady Aviel smiles brightly at you, making her look even more beautiful than she already did. In your case, my highly misplaced concern, I don't think you could remain unnoticed, Lady Aviel, if you tried. Oh, how you flatter me! I'm fairly certain to blush. She smiles again, and you think you might have detected the slightest edge to it, contrary to her sweet expression. I'm sure the same is true for you, Lady Inez. Surely you must possess some quality that makes you stand out from the crowd. Despite her sweet words, you feel like you have been issued a challenge, and fail to answer means losing somehow. What do you say? I consider myself very well educated. Lady Aviel smiles sweetly. They do say, never underestimate power of educated woman. Throughout your conversation, Lady Aviel's sweet voice has never once been anything other than kind and friendly in tone. She has never once let any negative expression pass her beautiful face. But even still, you are left with the nagging feeling that Lady Aviel is not as sweet nor as kind as she appears, and very certainly not as vapid and innocent. I have heard about you how you came to be here, Lady Inez. Considering what I have heard, I am extremely impressed with how much you have overcome. I'm positively all admiration that you could come so far, and have it hardly even noticeable now. This is definitely a backhanded insult if you've ever heard one. How do you respond? Insert her back bluntly. Ignore it. After delicately raising a single eyebrow to indicate that you have noted her comment and its implications, you choose to ignore the insult and change the subject innocently to the weather. Lady Aviel gives you what you guess is the first genuine smile since you started conversing, impressed with your response. You spend a few more moments in completely inoffensive conversation before Lady Aviel politely dismisses herself, claiming a need to freshen up. You can hardly believe considering how flawless she already looks. In any case, your conversation is clearly over, but you have discovered that Lady Aviel is far more than she appears. Whether this means you will avoid her, or perhaps even pursue her company, you have not yet decided. Who would you like to approach? As you approach, the princess examines you carefully. You can't tell if she's analyzing your fashion sense and appearance or trying to remember who you are. Quite possibly both. Lady Inez, I am very pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Princess Jaslyn of Corval. It is very clear that Princess Jaslyn, not contrary to her reputation, is very happy to chat, and chat at length, you think, if you let her. How would you greet her in return? Happily. You smile brightly at her and jump into a friendly introduction that leads to the both of you to spend several happy minutes jumping from topic to topic. What do you discuss? The attendees. There are so many people here, I can barely keep them straight. Surely someone as knowledgeable as you could tell me some interesting details of the members of our party. Jaslyn smiles and leans forward, and her eyes shining with avid interest as she shares with you some interesting gossip. Some of it is useless, but some of the rumors she shares are interesting. It seems that certain Grand Dukes have a reputation of being less than faithful to their wives. Furthermore, the perfect prince has a reputation of being so discreet with his personal life and taste that no one has heard of so much of a whisper of a fling. By the end of your conversation, you are feeling you have a slightly better idea about the people attending the summit. Your conversation is abruptly interrupted as Princess calls out, clearly excited. Oh, do you see that? Someone is crying. Oh, I must find a way. Ta, darling. Princess Jaslyn hurries off in a wave of perfume in search of a new gossip, not even bothering to acknowledge the end of your conversation with a goodbye. Would you like to approach? Might as well talk to the old lady. Lady Inez! The Dowager Countess greets you, smiling kindly upon you from her chair. Other than her polite greeting, the Dowager Countess makes no move to engage you in conversation. Instead, she merely waits, and although her expression is carefully neutral, you can almost feel like you are being presented with a test. Ask after her comfort, the history of the summit. Ask about Ireland. Ask her about a few leading questions about what she knows about the previous summits and its history in general. The Dowager Countess' eyes light up, and the pair of you have happy few minutes in discussion of history. Just as you are about to wrap up your conversation and move on, as the Dowager Countess is beginning to look tired, you're surprised when she asks you a sudden question. I wonder, Lady Inez, how you feel about being thrust into the heart of these events. Surely you must realize how pivotal the summit will be in shaping the events to come. To be honest, I'm a little overwhelmed. I think it's fascinating to witness such report firsthand while it's practically living through history. I think I would prefer to be an agent of these events rather than be affected by your outcome. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. Her intelligent eyes squint at you thoughtfully. I have a feeling you will prove to be a person worth watching, and my feelings are rarely wrong. I hope to talk with you again, Lady Inez. You curtsy and make your goodbyes, not quite sure what to think of your encounter with the Dowager Countess. In any case, it's time to be more active about your own fate. Back into the crowds you go. You have one more. Earl Emmett is the blonde boy, right? General Fallon, I guess? The general nods roughly at you as you approach. Lady Inez, I hope you continue to do your duty and bring GL no shame. His proclamation given, he turns his attention away from you as if there's nothing more to be said and nothing more to be gained from any conversation with you. It simply isn't logical. The exchange of new information is always worthwhile. You're going to have to prove it. For science. It is up to you to say something that will get his interest. How do you make an impression? Discuss the current political situation. As a respected general, one of the few chaperones at the summit, you could learn a lot from the general if you ask the right questions. So you ask him a few, appealing to his expertise, and before you know it, the general is fully engaged in your conversation, has learned a few things. Not as many as you hope, but it's still some new information of all the same. Now that you've managed to get the general's attention, what do you intend to do with it? You take the opportunity to learn more about warfare from one of the most respected experts on the subject. By the end of the conversation, you're perhaps more familiar with the cavalry versus pikemen than you wish to be, but you have certainly learned things. Even though you manage to catch and hold the interest of the general, much to his surprise, for he has no such expectation of you. It soon becomes apparent that you won't be able to keep it much longer, deciding to withdraw on a high note rather than wait until he's grown bored of you and make your curtsies and your excuses and leave the general. It's time to talk to someone else. You don't have time for any more conversations. Dinner's about to be served. Oh no. Alright. For dinner, you are seated between the Dowager Countess, who spends most of her dinner pretending to be much more deaf and dumb than you suspect she is, and one of the warrior ladies of Scout, who spends her time stabbing her dinner with her knife, like she's afraid it's not quite dead yet and wants to put it out of its misery. Oh. If that were not enough, Lord Blaine is seated directly across from you and spends dinner glaring at you with such sour intensity you have trouble enjoying the quite excellent food. Where's a nice place to put this? Maybe here's fine. But your hard work making an impression earlier has not been forgotten. Even at your distant end of the table, you receive attention from the other delegates. After receiving a particularly nasty glare from Lord Blaine, Princess Penelope, seated nearby, sends you a sympathetic look. You catch Hammond of Heiss watching you. When you look up and your eyes meet, he sends you a sussy wink, pulls a coin from behind his ear, hands it to a servant with a whisper. For the rest of the meal, you find your wine glass filled to the brim at every opportunity. After successfully driving the ladies of Arland seating near him to blushing incoherence, Prince Zarad looks around, bored. Spotting you, he lifts his glass in salute, gifting you an intense smolder that has a touch more sincerity than the ones he's been giving his seat partners. Tugging on the collar of his shirt and looking distinctly uncomfortable, Duke Lion catches your eye and the pair of you share a moment of mutual sympathy. Princess Gisette notices your discomfort and nods in acknowledgement at you. It might just be your imagination, but you feel as if her smile is edged with a tint of cruelty. Lady Avail takes a break from charming the men around her to witless to give you an appreciative smile as you deftly turn a boorish insult from Lord Blaine to a compliment to yourself. But even with this attention, you find dinner a rather tiring affair. So when it is finished and all the delegates are summarily dismissed to their rooms, you find it a bit of relief. It has been a tiring day. So after Syra and Rhea have helped you to undress and wash, you sink into bed and wait for sleep. When it does not immediately come, you notice that next to your bed, a book on the history of the summit has been placed. You want to read it. Yes, it might be relevant. 100 years ago, the Seven Kingdoms were on the verge of destruction. Centuries of constant warfare, bitter feuds, horrifying tragedies, and endless misunderstandings have taken their toll. With no end in sight, it seemed there was no way off the path of mutual destruction. In the era of the conflict, it seems that social niceties and diplomacy had no place and even less value. The greatest legacy of the kingdoms was doomed to be nothing more than blood, death, and aching loss. That is, until the 16th birthday of one very determined princess. Princess Katia of Revere had already lost 3 brothers to the ceaseless fighting. She was determined that she, and others like her, those not allowed to fight, would lose no more. Katia was clever as well as brave, charming as well as calculating, and most of all, she was very inventive and very determined. She invited important young people from all the kingdoms to celebrate her birthday, but, thinking it a trap, no one would agree to come. So, Katia learned of a small, mysterious island in the middle of the sea connecting the kingdoms. She went to this island, known only as Vale Isle, and she had a grand castle built. Again, she sent out invitations, this time promising neutral ground. Again, her invitations were refused, this time citing the danger of assassins and trained guards. So Katia sent back her own people and trained the mysterious island natives in the ways of service. Then, she sent out invitations once more, this time banning the attendance of guards, servants, or attendants. No one was to come. She insisted, save for the young nobles and royals themselves. By this time, the young people in question had grown mighty curious. What sort of person would go into so much trouble simply to celebrate a birthday long since past? Furthermore, if they went, they could find the answers to many of their pressing questions. Was it true, they wondered, that female warriors of Skald drank only the blood of their male victims? Was it true that the pirates of Hys made sails out of skulls and bone? Did the Emperor of Corval truly had a house of 1,000 wives? This time, they accepted. Not all, of course, but enough. 7 from every kingdom. And when they arrived at the isle, they found themselves well greeted and feasted. There were parties and plays, dances and friendly duels. And all along, there was Princess Katia, convincing them to stay just a little longer, to forget just a little more that their nations were at war and hated one another. It turned out that the Skald princess, when asked about drinking blood, could only laugh at the ridiculous thought, and seeing her laugh, no one would find her quite so scary or so strange. The Corval prince, upon being asked how many wives he had, proclaimed, "Why, none!" and then happily opened the position to any pretty applicants. The pirates of Hys were baffled to think how anyone thought a ship could be made with bone could sail, and offered to take everyone for a ride on their ship. Weeks passed, and the young people began to realize that none of the others were very strange or so very different. They might, under different circumstances, be friends, or more than friends. In particular, it is said that they were all, male and female alike, more than a little in love with Princess Katia. As time went on, the kingdoms became more and more impatient for the return of their children. They sent ships and warriors, bent to retrieve them at all costs. But even the best ships and the best sailors couldn't find the isle. They all returned empty-handed, filled with stories of heavy mists and vain searches. They sent angry letters to their children demanding they return, but by now Katia had convinced them they were not so different, that they did not have to fight, and most importantly, that they were not powerless in the face of endless conflict. So the young people sent letters of their own, refusing to return home. This enraged their families, who sent threatening letters to Katia. Katia sent thoughtful letters back, saying that she would allow a single representative, an ambassador, from each country to visit the isle, authorized to negotiate on behalf of their country. The ambassadors arrived, thinking to be facing kidnapping and extortion. Instead, they were greeted by a grand ball and the charges they were sent to rescue, all happy. well and getting along. This surprised them no little amount, but nowhere near as much as what happened next. In what later became known as the First Summit, the ambassadors and the young nobles and royals sat down and negotiated for a solid week. They hammered out peace treaties, trade agreements, marriage alliances, and when they were finished, 7 weeks had passed. 7 couples were married, and 7 kingdoms were finally at peace. It was not an easy transition, and there were many fears that no number of marriages or treaties could change anything for long. So Katya proposed a plan. She would stay on the Isle, waiting. Every 7 years, the 7 kingdoms would send 7 young delegates for 7 weeks to arrange 7 more weddings. This way, she argued, understanding differences between nations could continue to grow, alliances would be strengthened, negotiations resumed. They might not all trust each other, but by the end they all trusted Katya, no longer a princess, having forsaken the title, family and country, so she could be a neutral voice. You blink, trying to force your tired eyes to read further, but finally, give up. You gained a little knowledge of history and politics. Sometimes your choices, like this one, will result in an increase to your skills, but they won't generally be pointed out, so keep an eye on your skills on your page. Yay! You put down the book, your eyes feeling too heavy to keep open any longer. Finally, you manage to fall into an exhausted sleep. Well, this day and your first impressions have been important, it pales in import compared to your next. Tomorrow, you meet your matchmaker. Your first night at the summit was not an easy one. Having so many important conversations in a matter of hours had been interesting. The importance of conversations couldn't be underestimated. It might have been high pressure, but you think you learned some important things. And so, you went to bed, mind racing with thoughts of the previous day. The sun streams through your windows and dances across your tired eyes far sooner than you would have wished. You slept very poorly, or you spent many hours worrying about your logically cataloging anything for performance analysis. And if your own mood and worries wasn't enough, your neighbor spent several hours loudly sobbing, and so you had no choice but to comfort her. It wasn't in your nature to leave suffering people alone, so you knocked on her door, rubbed her back while she talked about how scared she was about being here visiting the matchmaker. Finally, you managed to fall into a fitful sleep, filled with ominous dreams. You'd imagine also were too sensible to read anything. In what seems like an eternity, but far too soon for your tired body, it was time to get up and get ready for the day. Did you manage to get up yourself? Of course. You might be exhausted, but that doesn't mean you're going to rely on anyone else to make sure you're doing what you need to do. You use pure willpower to pull yourself out of bed on time. After Ria and Seira finished helping you bathe and dress, Jasper came in the room carrying a steaming tray of breakfast. It is best you eat up, my lady. I expect it will be a trying day. You will need all the fortifications you can muster. You sit down to eat, even if nothing else positive could be said about the summit. Not that you are saying there isn't any. No one could say anything about their cooks. The food is absolutely divine. You look up after one particularly delicious bite to see Ria eyeing your food a little hungrily, and you remember that all Vale Isle servant tradition means that neither she nor any of your other servants are allowed to eat their own until you have and started your day. But there's no rule that says you can't share. You look down at your almost inhumanely large amount of food Jasper has brought you. You smile and invite Ria, Syra, and Jasper to join you. Jasper bows gracefully and declines, but you think you can detect a twinkle in his eye and suggests that he appreciated the offer. Ria, after you send her another reassuring smile, joins you happily. More reluctant, as if afraid you will change your mind, Syra takes a single pastry. Once breakfast was over and done, Jasper had cleared away every last crumb. He turned to you a more serious expression than was normal for even his stoic face. My lady, it will soon be your turn to finish the matchmaker. Do you know what that means? You'd heard rumors, of course, but no one you had talked to knew for certain who the matchmaker was or how exactly she did what she did. Jasper nodded seriously, sensing the hesitation on your face. When Princess Katya first came the Isle, She gathered the natives of Vale and explained to them their purpose. Even though war had not touched the shores of the isle, they thought peace was a worthwhile goal and agreed to her plan. She spent years training volunteers in the duties and positions she thought would be most important. Of these, one of the most important is the matchmaker. It is the matchmaker who makes the final decision on who should be allowed to court. It is she who presents her 7 final candidates for marriage at the end of the summit, and it is she who can make sure you'd fail to make any suitable match at all. Even if marriage is not your goal, her opinion holds weight with the chaperones and ambassadors of the nations. So basically you're saying it's very important I impress her. He nods with brisk emphasis. Yes, my lady, that is exactly what I'm saying. And impressing the matchmaker is no easy task. Today, the initial interview, she will spend some time with you and get to know you and make an initial assessment. It is important for your future here that you do the best as you can. Jasper's warning warm on your ears. You find yourself led through the never-ending corridors of Vale Castle on your way to meet the woman who apparently would be a great factor in making your fate. You are forced to wait with Jasper outside her tall doors even though you arrive only a little early. Apparently, the interview before yours is going over. Just when you are about to lose your dignity entirely and twiddle your thumbs in boredom, the doors thrust open and a sobbing man rushes out. Do us all a favor and swim home. You blink in surprise as a crinkly, angry voice shouts after the fleeing candidate. Satisfied her words were chasing him down the hall, the voice took to muttering. Yes, you run home, you useless waste of space. I can't believe your nation thought you were a worthy representative. Jasper cleared his throat delicately, and the owner of the muttering voice realized we were there. Ah, the Jasper's girl. Right on time. Well, might as well come in then. Jasper indicates you should enter before him, so you do. Inside, you find a small room filled with large painted wooden panels, a group of stuffy old men taking notes, and most noticeably, an older woman who can only be the matchmaker. Although she is small in stature, no one would ever fail to notice her, so large was her presence. Sharp emerald eyes cut into you, her wrinkled face stretched by how tightly her white hair is pulled back. You have no idea how old she actually is. With her air of entitled age and wisdom and sharpness, only decades and decades of practice of assessing and dismissing people can make you. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised if someone told you she was the same matchmaker princess Katya had trained herself. As you stand hesitantly in the door, her sharp gaze turns into an even sharper glare. Well, stop dithering in place like a silly chicken about to lose its head and come in and introduce yourself, girl. You manage to meet her gaze without shrinking and make your way inside the room. Now that you're inside the room, you remember her second directive was to introduce yourself. You know that there's a proper way to greet her, but your knowledge of etiquette is not so well ingrained that you can remember what it is while under so much pressure. Sensing your panic and hesitation, Jasper smoothly interjects. This is Lady Inez from GL, Lady Matchmaker. The matchmaker quirks her eyebrows at one of the writing clerks and they hasten to make note of your breach. The matchmaker doesn't react at all to your introduction. You have the sinking feeling that she knew who you were all along. You're beginning to feel very much like a puppet on a string she's enjoying to make dance. Her eyes turn sharp as she looks at you very deliberately over from the seams of your hem to the top of your styled hair. Let's get a look at you then. Make that a puppet she's considering buying, but finding displeasing to the eye. Well, there's nothing very pleasant about you at all now, is there? Charisma failure, beauty failure, charm failure, nah! Jasper gives you an encouraging look in the light of the matchmaker's insulting assessment. The intimidating matchmaker catches the look and turns her sharp gaze on him, then looks at you, then looks at Jasper again. I suppose you will be wanting him to stay for your interview. You shrug. You're fine managing even scary old ladies on your own. The matchmaker raises an eyebrow at your shrug. It is a fool who doesn't have the wisdom to know when it is beneficial to accept help from others. In any case, what you want does not matter. Your butler is not allowed to stay. You managed to bite your lip in time to keep from demanding to know why. She even asked you then. The matchmaker waves Jasper away and then imperiously indicates that you should sit. You take the seat she indicates, the chair directly across from her at the small table where she has settled. Having watched you settle in, the matchmaker gives you a scornful look and sighs heavily. I suppose you have come here with your mind full of ideas of happily ever after and true love with the perfect prince. I'm not expecting love, but I won't turn it away if I happen to find it. She frowns and shakes her head. No one likes a girl too afraid to take a proper stance. Well, girl, what are you waiting for? Serve me the tea. It is not an expected request, but you manage to maintain your composure and recover quickly. You spot the tea equipment in front of you and prepare to serve it. You notice that in addition to the normal blends of tea, there is something out of place. You recognize it from one unfortunate incident during your adolescence with a particularly persistent swain. Ground benvelet root. Adding some to the tea, and the person who drinks it will be in a better mood and feel more affectionate towards those around them. Side effects include painful stomach cramps the following day, however. You have the opportunity to sneak some into the matchmaker's tea, do you? No, basically poisoning someone into liking you better isn't right. You'd hope that if she'd noticed your decision, she would be at the very least grateful you had make her sick. But no, she definitely noticed. But she doesn't seem very impressed by you. Very ethical of you, my dear, but perhaps not very wise. Others will not hesitate to take similar advantages, leaving you either behind or perhaps even dead. She breaks out into an eerie smile. Not that it matters in any case. I have developed an immunity to that particular drug. Now serve the tea. I can already see it is getting cold. Perhaps it was the nerves, or more likely your complete lack of grace and finesse, but instead of gracefully pouring the tea in the cup, you lose your grip and send the teapot flying directly towards your lap. You aren't able to protect yourself from being soaked in tepid tea. The matchmaker gives your newly damp lap the side eye as she hands you a napkin. Again, notes are scribbled, giving a symphony to your shame. Well, no use crying over spilt tea, I suppose. Your performance thus far has not left me with much hope, but perhaps we'll be granted a small miracle this morning and you will manage to surprise me. Let us see if you have any conversation. What do you talk about? Academic theory. This is the best thing. You manage to converse with at least some intelligence on various academic topics. In the future, I advise you gain some understanding of your subject's interest in the matters of diving before the fine points of academic theory, child. What do you want to talk about? History? You attempt to remember some historical information she might find worth discussion, but under your bored stare, under her bored stare, you find yourself mixing up facts and dates. In the future, attempt not to elucidate others on your ignorance so clearly. You attempt to discuss some of the finer points of current political situation, but your limited knowledge on the subject isn't up for the matchmaker's unimpressed scrutiny. If that is your understanding on the topic, forget marriage. I fear for your survival, girl. You stumbly tried to think of anything to say on the topic of warfare. Stop, child! Put us both out of this misery! Staring at you, she shakes her head disbelievingly. Honestly, child, I have no idea how someone like you was chosen to come here. There's a pause as you realize she's waiting for you to explain. Under her disapproving gaze and the rapid note-taking of her failure recording assistants, you stumble across a summary of how you ended up a delegate. Well, if you never took the test, I understand why you are far less impressive than your fellows. It's a shame, but you seem singularly unimpressive, Lady Inez. Didn't you prepare for the summit? I thought it would be better to improvise once I got here. Well, that explains some of the problem. Improvisation is all well and good, but you can't improvise when you're completely underprepared to succeed no matter what you do. I wanted to root for you. Truly, I did. Jasper is a dear boy, and I had hopes that his lady would be up to par for his sake, if nothing else. But I have to say, I find very little redeeming about you. You may think well of yourself and your high intelligence, but brilliant brides aren't as in high demand as you might think. Your complete lack of calculative intelligence can only be considered a defect when considering the demands of a lady of power. You seem completely clueless when it comes to getting insight on people and situations. I can't recommend someone so tone deaf. As a princess, a future queen, even just a lady of stature, all must have some ability to inspire others to follow them. An ability it hardly needs to be said you completely lack. You are completely unable to influence people toward your will, a rather necessary skill for life, but especially for the summit, don't you think? You might have some practical skills, but that knowledge doesn't seem very useful for a lady who will seldom be required to do a single practical thing. And that's not even mentioning your personality. You might think you are simply logical, but to many others you appear to be cold, and your bluntness is hardly an attractive quality. Being too ambitious makes you seem like a greedy cat. It's a real shame when someone has no imagination. And I've always found hazel eyes very unlucky, especially when combined with rainbow hair. In short, I don't feel confident making a match or recommending you to anyone. Any further time spent together would be a waste of time. You should go. The matchmaker nods at some of her assistants and they leap up to open the heavy doors. You manage to walk out instead of run, and with your head held high instead of furious tears, so at least you can take some small comfort in having more dignity than your predecessor. In one small mercy, Jasper seems to correctly assess the situation with a simple glance, so you don't have to tell him just how badly you just have performed. It seems so illogical that she could find so many faults with you, some of which you didn't even agree were flaws at all, even if it hadn't been your intention to come in the first place. Being found so wanting is unpleasant. Jasper appears to have some sort of butlery magic, for not only does he seem to know exactly what happened, but also he has sensed your pensive mood, and you make up a silent trip back to your room, during which you can collect your thoughts. Rhea looks up eagerly, and Sarah reluctantly. Seeing the expression on Jasper and your faces, theirs darken in return. But Rhea is disappointed only for a moment. Soon, she perks up and reassures you with a bright smile. Don't worry, Lady Inez. The matchmaker doesn't really like anyone, and she's especially hard on people she's just met. She's famous for making people cry. Sarah looks at Jasper thoughtfully, as if asking in silent servant speak just how bad it was. Don't worry, Lady Inez. The matchmaker doesn't really... sorry. It's not easy. She has been known to change her mind if you can impress her again during your second interview in a few weeks. We have some time to improve you before then. Apparently, she got her answer. It will require hard work, Lady Inez, but we will do our utmost to assist you and make sure you shine as brightly as you can. You aren't sure if that's a testament to their faith in you or an insulting look into how they think you are now. In either case, you had just had your first real taste of failure. If you are smart and work hard, you might make it so you never have another. You met with the matchmaker. It did not go well. After giving you some time to recover from your morning ordeal with the matchmaker, Jasper appears, seemingly out of nowhere, with a small stack of envelopes, and clears his throat deliberately. Forgive me, my lady. I'm afraid we have pressing business to attend to. At the beginning of every week, Jasper will give you any letters or invitations you have received, ask for your plans when necessary, and inform you of any major events. First, I should remind you, at the end of the week is the big self-introduction event is scheduled. Since we have already had the welcome feast and the first meetings with the matchmaker, this is the only other major event this week. I'm not certain if you have been informed, but it is customary for all the delegates to formally introduce themselves to one another. It is more of a speech than an informal gathering. You might want to consider brushing up on related skills, for what you say, how well you do, will have an impact. It'll be your next major challenge. Secondly, if you have already received some invitations and letters, remember, if you accept an invitation, you will not be able to change your mind or do something else during the time you have agreed to meet. The Princess Anael of Skald has invited you to spend some time this week sparring with her. Would you like to accept? Why not? Sounds interesting. You have received a note from Lord Blaine. Really? Why on earth have you received a letter from him? You're pretty sure he was sending you looks. He wished you were lethal all through the night. To my incompetent rival, I just wanted to make it clear on no uncertain terms that whatever villainous spell you have cast on the fair Princess Anael will not long work. Soon, I will have her secured her heart, and you will have been sent back home in shame. I suggest you stop embarrassing yourself further, and instead of believing any empty flatteries she may have given you last night, instead stay away from her. Preferably downwind, so we will never of us have to be forced to endure your stench. Never yours, Lord Blaine. Well, that explains it. Hamid of Heist has invited you to... Jesper pauses almost imperceptibly, which of course only makes it that much more noticeable. Explore the castle. Would you like to accept? Sounds like an adventure. You have received a letter from Prince Zarad of Corval. To my most attending new acquaintance, I cannot help it. It is as if you have put me under a spell or trapped me in a fever. I'm afraid you might be the only cure to the illness you have so carelessly given me. If you have any measure of pity or compassion in your alluring heart, I beg you to join me this week to go stargazing. Only such a background is suited for your charms. Your enraptured prince, Zarad. Would you like to accept this invitation to go stargazing? Yes! I can't very well leave the boy under my curse. Jesper nods, having run out of letters and invitations to give you. I'm not sure if you're aware, Lady Inez, but all candidates are given the option to host a weekly event. If you choose to do so, you will have to plan, fund, and host the event, but successful events can greatly boost your relationships and reputation. However, it'll take you 2 blocks of time, one for planning, one for hosting. In addition, a failed event will be a waste of your time and resources, and there's no guarantee that those you invite will choose to accept. Still, if carefully managed, it can be very much worthwhile. Would you like to arrange an event this week, Lady Inez? I am a born hostess and ready to prove it. As you wish. This will leave you with 7 blocks of unscheduled free time this week. Is that acceptable? I'll rethink my choices. Maybe we won't do the event because we're not why not? Sounds interesting. Okay, yes, we will explore the castle. And then we will go stargazing with Zarad. Should we arrange an event? No. Let me save. Wait. Okay. Princess Anael of Skull. I'll rethink my choices. Yes, I will fight. Yes, explore with the pirate. Yes, go stargazing. Okay, and then we will save here. And then return. It can be very much worthwhile. Would you like to arrange this week? I'm a born hostess. Yes, that's right. Very well. I believe we are finished then. I wish you luck this week. The first day, you can choose how to spend your time. Would you like a quick explanation? Yes. Every day is split into 2 time blocks, a day and the evening. For instance, since you met the matchmaker in the day, it is now evening. And if there's an official event, if you have accepted an invitation, or if you have plans with someone, you'll automatically use your time as you have already arranged. But if you haven't made plans and your presence isn't required elsewhere, you can choose what to do with the time yourself. By studying, you can increase some of your skills and knowledge. If you have good relationships, you can ask for advice in order to improve yourself. Or you can explore places in the castle and on Vale Isle. What you find and what happens depends on when and where you look. Good luck. Ask someone for skill advice. Oh, okay. Hmm. Ask beauty tips from your mates. Having decided to ask your mates for some beauty tips, you are surprised to find Jasper and Syra missing. Instead, Ria is alone in your room, brushing your dresses to combat travel wrinkles. She smiles up cheerfully at you.
Oh, Lady Inez, how nice to see you. How are you today?
Um, Much better now that I've met such a friendly face. Ria grins at you happily.
Jasper and Syra are both busy elsewhere today. I never know what Jasper's up to. He's always appearing and disappearing like a cat. Syra was called into Mrs. White's office. I think they're discussing linens or something. I know I'm the least skilled in experience of your staff. But is there at least something I can help you with, my lady?
Ask for beauty tips. She blushes, flattered at the implied compliment that you think she has things that she can teach you, and happily sets to instructing you on the magic of lining your eyes with kohl. A new day dawns. Jasper walks up with you a large stack of papers, some black invitation stationery, and determined glint in his eye. My lady, it is time for us to plan what event you intend to host this week and send out the invitations. First, we must decide what type of event it should be. For the first week, I have prepared 3 options that are appropriate for new acquaintances and that we have the ability and resources to pull it off. Are you disappointed that Jasper wants to start with something so appropriate and traditional? No, things are traditional for a reason. Ignoring your moments of inattention, Jasper clears his throat and presents you with his ideas. Oh, hey Echo, how you doing? Yes, it is Feliz Dia de Valentino. Yes, it is the day of the Valentine. How you doing, Echo? Thanks for stopping by. What brings you here today? We are playing a game called Seven Kingdoms, The Prince's Problem. We are a princess, and we are here at the summit with a lot of attractive young men and women, and we are going to see who we marry at the end. Well, even if we don't marry anyone, we're still in the important duties of diplomacy and negotiations and making sure that our kingdoms don't fight each other and all that. Yes. What kind of event do you want to host? Musicale. Diplomacy's nuts. Yes, we will do musicale. Let me remember what my my calendar, my relationships and information. Okay, so my skills. Do I because I know that I did music. I know that I'm good at music. Excuse me, where is my, there it is. Okay, skills, knowledge, history, politics, street smarts, practical, academic, personality, relationship. Okay, so yeah, the only thing that makes us one is oh. Maybe. Just resting for a bit before preparando for dinner. Played a little bit of FF7. Crisis Core. Yeah, I did see that. I believe the game. Yes, the game looks so good. Wait, Crisis Core Reunion? Is that is there a new Final Fantasy Crisis Core, or is it like the one for PSP? I almost got the game over if it wasn't for my One Phoenix Down. Yeah, that happens, right? You gotta use those, and it runs so well. Yeah, it does. If I'm gonna assume that you're playing the PSP version, because even the remake treatment for Crisis Core. Okay, yeah, like I mean, even Crisis Core on the PSP already looks really good, right? I want to host a musical, but I don't think I have the skills for it. I'm not even a morning tea kind of person. It's on PC and consoles. I see. I'm definitely gonna look into it. Like, because I'm the kind of person who's like, you have to play Crisis Core before you play FF7, right? Yeah, I'm a because it's a prologue. You have to play it, right? Like I understand the appeal of playing FF7 before Crisis Core, but come on, like gameplay is so much better. So Crisis Core, where the gameplay is already really good, you're claiming that the remake is a lot better. That's exciting. That's exciting. I'm gonna look forward to that. All right. What do you think, Echo? All right. Here's the thing. Our princess, me, like was this we're not the best at etiquette or manners or things like that. We're just more a smart person, but even our smarts is like academic kind of smarts, not like history kind of smarts. So it's like uh and we're not that creative either. I wish I was, but apparently like we're not that but I do really want to do a musical, right? Um a lecture from a guest historian, I'm like, I feel like that will bore a lot of people, right? Musical, I feel like a lot of people could get into a musical, right? Like, even if it's not, the Jasper dude looks like he's doing a Lee Chowlan cosplay. I was about to say, like, Black Butler, but he had white hair, right? You know what? You know what? Let's make it interesting. Let's do a musical, even though we're not qualified for it. Another event that is fitting is hosting a musical. Casual enough for early acquaintance, but still has the potential to be very entertaining to your guests. You'll have to contract a musician to come to the aisle, which will cost you at least 15 gold. You can invite a relatively large number of people to this event. Do you want to host a musical? Yes. Which musical entertainment would you like to hire? A world famous trio, a talented small ensemble. Okay, so we currently only have 50 gold. Should we use all our gold on this one thing? Or do we go cheap and then we like, we just do like boom, piano and then that's it? Or talented small ensemble? I'm cool with like small ensemble, right? Can you do only that thing once? Yes. I think we can only do this one particular thing once. Like a world famous trio, actually a world famous trio. That's 3 people, but a small talented ensemble, I'm thinking is like, like 5. It's like a band, right? You know me, I'm cheap with money. But I feel like a small ensemble would be a lot better than one pianist, right? Right? Because here's the thing, the people that we've you choose the middle option. Okay, yeah. I agree. You can invite 8 people to this event. Now is the time to consider the guest list. Remember that people will accept and refuse invitations based on their feelings toward you and the type of event you plan. We are definitely inviting Prince Zarad. We are definitely inviting Prince Zarad. The Prince Zarad is very nice. He is very nice. He is a good dancer. He's a little bit touchy-feely, but he's fun. Yes, we will invite Prince Zarad. We will also invite Princess Anna, because Princess Anna is best waifu. Lurk, I must commit cooking of the pagkain. You go ahead and do that, Echo. May you have a nice meal. Yes. Who else do you want to invite? I think I will invite Lord Claremont, even though he's not the most dancey kind of person. No, okay, maybe we will come back to him. We'll go to Penelope. Definitely Penelope. Yes, we do want Penelope. Princess Giselle. Should we really do? Are we even? Why do we have the Grand Duke Charles Woodley? Why do we have the option of getting him? Oh, is there no second page? Is this everyone? Oh, we definitely have to. We definitely have to go with Prince Hammond and Princess Cordelia for sure. Okay, return. There you go. Oh, we have more options. Okay. Definitely Prince. Wait, did I get one of them wrong? Prince Zarad, yes. Lord Jarod. Who is Lord Jarod? Oh, Prince Jarod. No, no, no. We hate Jarod. We hate Jarod. We're not inviting this guy. He's the ruiner of the party. We're going with Prince Hamin, Princess Cordelia. Yes. Prince Hamin. Yes. Princess Cordelia. Yes. More. Are we really going to invite a woman in a wheelchair? Are we gonna invite the servants? Well, I mean, why not? Lady Avali, like, okay, so Lord Blaine. We hate Blaine, right? Yeah, we hate Blaine. We are Blaine haters in this house. Yeah, we don't like Lord Blaine. Avali, okay, so here, this is the thing. Princess Gisette is kind of a bitch. Lady Avali is less of a bitch. So, but I'm not sure if she will appreciate like music and stuff, right? You know what? Let's go with Lord Claremont, because Lord Claremont is, come on, he's such a nice boy. He's such a good boy. Yes, we are gonna Prince Lyle. I don't know about Prince Lyle, man. Okay, Duke Leon, definitely not. It's like what's his dancing music is definitely like not his style, right? It's definitely like he definitely will not appreciate this, right? There's a part of me that wants to go with Lady Avali, right? Lady Avali and Princess Gisette. Like, even though they're kind of wait. Do we not have like Lady Jaslyn? We don't. Oh, come on! I thought Jaslyn would love to be here. Earl Emmett. We haven't even met Earl Emmett, dude. Oh, Princess Jaslyn. There we go. Oh wow. Okay, so Princess Gisette or Princess Gisette, Princess Jaslyn, or Princess Avali. Now, I'm kind of in the mood for like Princess Jaslyn and Princess Avali. Did we invite enough men though? Did we invite enough guys? Okay, so we invited Prince Zared. We invited Prince Zared. We invited what's his name? Lord Claremont. Let's see what. Who else did we know? Of course we did Prince Hammond. Prince Lyle. Earl is kind of weird. So we have 3 guys. We invited 3 guys. We invited Penelope, so that's 1 girl. We invited Princess Cordelia. Hi, Suki-chan. How you doing? Thanks for dropping by. Yes, can you help me with something? Okay. So, hello. Yes. I need your help with something, okay? So, this is a game called 7 Kingdoms: The Princess Problem, and we are a princess, and we are attending a summit where, we're gonna meet some cute boys and some cute girls, and we're gonna make sure that everyone is fine with each other, make sure everyone's relationships are fine, and we're just gonna we're just gonna make sure that everything, our diplomacy and negotiations, but most importantly, who we're going to marry. Oh my god. Now, you can already tell, big tomboy strong girl, Princess Anna. I love Princess Anna, right? Uh, like Princess Anna is my girl. But the thing is, when I played this game all those years ago, I already did Princess Anna. So I already married Princess Anna. So maybe if everything like kind of if everything kind of like naturally goes along with Princess Anna, I'll still do with her, but we'll see where it goes, right? Princess Lyle, he's kind of a like normal, he's a normie. Princess Lyle is a normie. The quote unquote Prince Hamin is a pirate, so he's kind of one, but so he's kind of, he's kind of a bad boy, but he's but he's nice. He's just an adventurous spirit, Prince Zarad. Prince Zarad is a very charming man from a faraway country, and he's a very nice and he likes to dance. So of course I invited him to my party. Prince Jared, we hate Jared. He's a bitch. Princess Gisette is also kind of a bitch, but she might be a powerful ally. Duke Leon is Duke Leon, he's like he's a nerd. So he's a nerd, so I'm not inviting him to a music party, but we do want to be friends with him. Lord Claremont's a good boy. Lord Claremont's a good boy. He's a good boy. Earl Emmett, we have not talked to Earl Emmett yet. Princess Penelope, of course we're inviting Princess Penelope. She's a sweetheart. Princess Cordelia, even though we didn't go off on the correct foot, I'm certain that she's the kind of person who will like dancing and all that, like dancing and music. Princess Avalie, we're not sure yet. She's kind of a bitch like Gisette, but less. Not to mention we're from the same country. Lord Blaine is Lord Blaine, we hate him. He's from the same country as Prince Zarad, but he's like, no, you will not get Princess Anna from me. And I'm like, no, Princess Anna loves me. Go away. Rhea and Syra, I don't think they're Yes, I'm picking characters to go to the party. Yes. So I've already invited Princess Anna L. I've invited Prince Hamin, Prince Zarad. I've invited Lord Claremont. And Rhea and Syra. I can invite them, but they're more like my servants kasi. So it's like, like if I invite servants to the party that's meant in a summit that's meant for the high people, it's like, yeah, it's nice, but at the same time, the point of the summit is to have relationships with all the people of all the kingdoms, right? So that's my problem right now. So that ang hirap naman mag-choose. Yes. Anyway, we are only choosing two people right now. So Princess Jaslyn, she's not she's not an eligible bachelorette, but she seems to be a very important ally because she's good at like making gossip and making chica, and she can get to a lot of people's secrets. So if we becomes friends with her, I feel like it can go a long way. Princess Gisette, Vox? Now? Come on, I just started. Yes, it's okay. Yeah, it's alright. It's okay. I'll catch up. Anong oras? I don't know. Like, depende. What's this? You guys can start now. Okay. I'll upload the episode lang. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Alright. Now, Princess Gisette, she's kind of a bitch. But here's the thing. Princess Gisette and Prince Jarod are from the same country. And Prince Jarod kind of assaulted us, Prince Jarod kind of assaulted us. And then Princess Avalie is from our kingdom. She's kind of a bitch, but like we still kind of like her, I guess. So maybe I'm thinking Princess Jaslyn and Avalie. Prince Lyle is kind of a normie. Grand Duke Charles Woodley is an old man. Duke Leon is a nerd. Earl Emmett, he might be nice. I just haven't talked to him yet, All right. Okay, let's go with this. I'm gonna Princess Jaslyn. Yes. Because she seems like the kind of person who would like music and stuff. and Lady Avali. Yes. Alright, you can't invite. Planning your event has taken all morning. Nothing to do now but wait and see if your invitations are accepted. You have a leisurely morning for once, lingering over your warm chai and picked over remains of your breakfast when the sound of raised voices in the hall outside your door draws your attention. Why, I say, that ring you are wearing looks awfully familiar. Almost identical to the one I brought with me, in fact. What exactly? The Heiss are pirates, so what exactly are you implying? Like, why, nothing at all. It was my understanding that you people from Heiss positively pride yourself on stealing things that don't belong to you. I see what this is about. You're simply jealous that the lovely lady from GL preferred my company to yours last night. Is this some attempt to accuse me of unfairly stealing her too? That's the problem with you pirate barbarians. You are just thieves, savages who don't know your place. Ha! As if you lot are any better, stealing away all the pretty ladies of the world and keeping them under lock and key in the inner court, never to see the stars and the sea, nor feel the wind at their backs again. You cannot be a thief of what you rightfully own. Rightfully bought, you mean? I hate to break it to you, but whatever your precious emperor has told you, you can't actually buy happiness. But can you steal it? By now, their voices are raised to full-on angry shouts, and your fears that this will surely escalate to a physical violence is not helped by the sound of a loud crash as something bumps into your door. The noise is immediately followed by two smaller thump-thumps, then the hasty sound of retreating footsteps. Your door is opened, and seemingly unbothered, not a single hair out of place, stands Jasper. My apologies, my lady. Had I any idea your morning would be thus disturbed, I would not have left you. While I appreciate your concern, I am more than capable of handling a pair of swaggering boys on my own. Having reassured himself you are well enough, Jasper stares at the now closed door thoughtfully. I suppose this is a good time as any to make sure you are properly educated on the subject. Inez is you, yes. Inez is me. I am Inez. Inez is me, gender bent. Yes. I suppose this is a good time as any to make sure you are properly educated on the subject. You try and quell a look of horror. You've not known Jasper for very long, only a matter of days, but certainly has been long enough to know that his idea of educating and training is so rigorous and frightening. You have no doubt that even the stoic veteran of General Fallon would quiver at the prospect. What do you know of the tensions between Heiss and Corval? Not very much, I'm afraid. Just some rumors and pirate raids. Oh, ang cutie ng name. Mas cute ka. Mas cutie ka. Jasper nods. Heiss claims it is simply in their nature that you can't expect a nation of pirates to never resort to piracy. Corval, being the richest of the nations, is one of their constant targets. The Emperor is not content to simply allow all of his trading vessels to be at constant risk of an attack. Truthfully, I believe he is not far off declaring war on Heiss to eradicate the threat of his fortunes once and for all. The summit might only be one thing between our current uneasy peace and full-out naval warfare, so you had best be careful of the issue. In any case, that's enough of that. Isn't it time for you to leave your morning plans? With some new information to think about, you nod absently and prepare to leave. Alright, what are we gonna do? We need to study and improve our abilities. We need better etiquette. We spent some time reading up on old etiquette guides. Yay! Water Day. Hindi na ako cute kasi galing sa sagyan. No. Like, so, Saki-chan. You know that voice that people have when they just wake up? That is the same voice people have when they are sick. It's cute. It's cute. It's okay. And here's the thing. Diba, you have a very high-pitched voice. So sobrang cute siya. So I'm sure that if it sounds a little deeper, it will sound different. And there's a thing called gapmoe. So it's like, because you're usually very high-pitched, if we hear your voice in a low pitch and then it's kind of raspy and everything, I'm sure it will sound cute. So I'm sure you're fine. When Jasper wakes you up with an even more steaming and hearty breakfast, and solemn reminder that you have agreed to spend your morning training with Princess Anael, you aren't sure if getting up or if burying yourself under the covers and refusing to come out would be a better idea. Jasper clears his throat and you drag yourself out of bed and to eat and get ready. You don't know the princess well, but you imagine if you didn't show up promptly and ready to practice, she would barge into your room and bodily drag you out of bed. Thus, resigned to your fate, you put your most casual, loose outfit and meet the Princess Anna in a large room that had been set aside for those who wished to keep up with the martial training, mostly meaning the ladies of Scalp. Princess Anna! Princess Anna! My strong mommy tomboy princess! Come to me, my queen! Your hunch was correct. The way Anna bounces up to you with filled with happy energy the moment you can be spotted through the open door, practically oozing with unbridled enthusiasm, makes you think she was already just holding herself back from charging towards your room to drag you out. And you are even a little early. Good morning, Princess Anna. Oh, siya pala gusto mo. Ganda niya, mas maganda ka. She grins happily at you. It is, isn't it? I get to train and spend time with you. It might be the best morning since I got to this tiny island full of poof froofies like that annoying bzz bzz. Lord Blaine? She makes a sour face. Yes, that one. I hope his ego wraps around his useless stick legs and trips him. But let us talk of happy things, like swords, and you. I'd much rather be in the company of swords than in bugs, so I will take the compliment. You're rather barbaric. I don't know, is Lord Blaine tripping over his own... I think talking about Lord Blaine... I'd much rather be in the company of swords than in bugs, so I'll take the compliment. Anna grins at you happily. Ala, hindi ako maganda. Uy, si Princess Anna na lang. No. Mas maganda ka. Mas maganda ka kay Princess Anna. And I know what you look like in real life. I've seen your pictures. Mas maganda ka. You should. My sword is one of my favorite things. I was very sad when I was forced to leave her behind to come to the Isle. Your sword is a she? Yes. She is very beautiful. Her name is Diane. But when I forge her a sister, maybe I will name her In. I made my nickname for her In instead of Inez. In. Uy, In. Ganun na lang. Ala, di ako maganis. Since it is too soon for you to earn your first blade, if they even allowed anything sharper than one of your fancy forks, we will have to do something else today. We should practice how to get away from someone if someone tries to take you. You really think I have to be worried about being bodily abducted and carried away? Yes, you are in an island full of people wanting pretty wives. Who is to say they'd not take a liking to you and just try to take you? No one should be taking my Ines. Until she wants to be taken. She says my Ines. She said my Ines. So, that is how you found yourself instructed to act normally as Princess Anna creeps up behind you and catches you in a tight grip. She's holding me. And you can tell her title as a warrior is not just for show. The arms that hold you trapped with solid and pure tensed muscle, and you feel might as well be held by iron bars. Sure thing, Saki-chan. Lurk well. She laughs. A happy sound reminds you of your ruffled danger instincts that is just play, then purrs merrily into your ear. So, I have caught you, my pretty In. How are you going to escape? About pressure points and human vulnerabilities to target a weak spot and pull yourself free. Twist your neck so... Although up until this point, the knowledge you gained from that article remained purely theoretical, the theory seemed sound. You decide testing it out is a worthwhile experiment and reach for one of the spots you read about on Princess Anna's elbow and jab. Jerking reflexively, her grip on you loosens and you manage to free yourself neatly. Rubbing her elbow, Princess Anna eyes you with new respect. Impressive, In. I'm beginning to have a new appreciation for smart girls. Princess Anna, please. Now that I have seen what you can do on your own, I will teach you many tricks to escape the bad, stinky men. Will they all be stinky, my hypothetical kidnappers? When you are that close to someone in combat, they are always stinky. Do they not know about baths in Skull? What did you mumble-bumble? Nothing. Good. Now again. Anna keeps training you until your back has the uncomfortable sensation of sticky sweat. Your muscles are shaking unsteadily, and you are beginning to wish you had hid under your covers after all. Noticing your state, Anna, still looking fresh as the morning daisy, smiles and calls for a halt. You haven't managed more than to let your jelly limbs collapse into one of the chairs kept in the practice room for those who wish to observe when one of the servants brings you an iced goblet of cold lemon water. You are drowning in the drink gracefully when Anna, a glass of her own, settles down next to you. Do not be so hard on yourself, pretty Ian. It was hard for me too when I first started training. How long ago was that? My father first took me out to the snowfields barefoot when I was 4, left me to find my own way back to camp. After that, she would make me run instead of ride when we traveled and started toughening my feet and hands. But I did not pick up my first training blade until I was 6. That must have been very difficult. It was not the hardest thing I've ever endured, but it was the first hard thing, and those tend to stick in our memories. Still, it made me stronger, and made me into a strong warrior I am today. I do not complain. It is not so for all of my people, you see. Even by our standards, my mother's methods and trainings were considered harsh, but she could do no less. She is the queen. I am her daughter. And she is queen as we have not seen in many generations. That means there is no room for me to be anything less than the best. It's still a great weight to be placed on a young child. If I have learned anything since coming here to this castle of pretty proofiness, it is that we have been given great weights since we were young. If we had not, we wouldn't be here at all. I suppose that's true. To be born into positions of privilege like we have certainly comes with many heavy burdens of expectation and responsibility. Which is why we must seize this chance to make what few choices for our fates that we can. This is what I plan to do. You should too, pretty Ian. Find out what will make you happy. Chase after it like Big Sister Wolf on the hunt. I'm happy. Don't worry, princess. I always do what is best for me. Alas, I don't think my nation will be very with my puppy. I hope we manage to live up to such good wishes for both our sake. It would be better if there were 2 here. No one can wish for happiness for you. You must chase it yourself. Still, I will hold good thoughts for you and wish you luck on your great hunt. Thank you for your good wishes. In any case, and for your concern for my safety. I do appreciate what you've done for me today, princess. Not princess. Anna. Only Anna. Anna, then. Good. Anna grins at you cheerfully before spotting something in the distance and making a reluctant, grumpy face. Ah, your watchy starry shadow man is here. I suppose I must wish you farewell for now, pretty Inez. Be careful. Keep training so no one can throw you over their shoulder and take you away. Jesper stands at the door, his presence a silent reminder that it is time to go. You bid the princess farewell, pleased that even if you'd managed a half-reasonable curtsy with your shaking limbs and aching muscles. You're happy to escape back to your room for the chance to clean yourself and get a quick rest before your evening plans. Still, you're confident that you not only you are confident that not only do you now understand Princess Anna better, but you are also much better equipped to defend yourself. You only hope that being forced to use her new skills against Stinky Kidnapper is not as likely as Anna convinced it will be. Yay! You returned from dinner feeling a bit overtired. You had spent the entire meal seated between 2 delegates seemingly determined to argue the other to death. You couldn't help but feel weighed down by the words they had so heatedly exchanged. Welcome back, my lady. Jesper's greeting quickly turns into inquisitive concern, and before you know what is happening, you are repeating the argument you had been forced to sit in the middle of. Let us give grace to the gods and thanks for the bounty of this meal. May they protect our great king, and may he prosper in good health. It seems exclusively illogical that entire nation will be so foolish as to buy into some great myth of gods, especially when there are no opportunities for advancement based on your performance, intelligence, or skill. Your nation may be barbaric enough to respect your ancestors instead of the traditional and rightful gods that created us all, but even you have a king, lady. A king bound by the advice and support of his ministers and scholars. Men and women have proven their skills and intelligence in many tests and forms. And your king is bound to follow the advice of commoners? Some are born common, some are born from nobility. But yes, these advisors have come from all walks of life. I think any man, especially a reader, would be wise to take advice and counsel of any intelligent, worthy source. If concept is so foreign, it is no wonder I have found the fellows of your nation so shockingly inept and ignorant. The lords and ladies of Ireland are second to none in honoring their duties and the expectations placed upon us by our great tradition. And that is the great difference between enlightenment and slavery. In jail, not even king would expect someone blind obedience, especially not to something as ridiculous as traditional duties. Everyone is expected to make decisions based on logical deduction. I will thank you to save such talk for your fellow heathens. I am finding it increasingly difficult to be polite in the face of such unnatural savagery. And for the rest of the meal, both of them had been busy sending disdainful looks at another, and they have almost put you off your food. Jesper looks thoughtful as you reach the end of your report. I suppose it's no surprise that even the delegates from Ireland and JL would succumb to the pressure of the summit and show their disagreements in such a public way. What do you know of the tensions between the two nations? I know that they are one of the most unfathomably illogical of the nations in the way that they have structured their society. Even the unsophisticated Skald makes more sense to me. Jasper nods thoughtfully. GL and Ireland are not at odds in the ways of many other nations. I do not fear war is especially imminent, but as differences and misunderstandings between the two nations grow, I fear unless steps are made to help the nations grow, understanding and respect for each other, they will start to dehumanize the other in a way that can only result in future conflicts that will have high costs, perhaps in blood. In any case, I have no intention of further keeping you from your evening plans. It takes you a moment of recovery post-dinner fiasco to realize that while you were gone, a note in a single-purple rose had been placed on your desk. The note was simple. It was from Prince Zarad telling you to meet him at the gardens next to the gazebo at the sunset for your stargazing date. It didn't take long to get ready, and after the evening, you were looking forward to some cool fresh air and, hopefully, easy company. Prince Zarad was famous for his womanizing ways, which surely meant he would be able to make the evening peacefully enjoyable, especially he was sure to be on his best behavior. Give me a moment. Alright. Excuse me. You didn't take long to get ready, and after the evening you were looking forward to some cool fresh air and hopefully easy company. Prince Arad, famous for his womanizing ways, which surely meant he would be able to make the evening peacefully enjoyable, especially since he was sure to be on his best behavior. As the sky starts to turn to dusk, filled with vibrant colors that painted the sky only twice a day, you made your way outside. A small brisk wind makes you huddle into your little dress, feeling the slight chill of the night air. You have reached the appointed spot, but Prince Zarad is nowhere to be seen. Since the piece is a nice change and the view is quite breathtaking, you settle into it happily enough. But the scenery captures enough of your attention that when someone speaks from behind you, you nearly jump out of your skin.
Good morning, Lady Inez. How positively surprising to find you outside alone. Have you been abandoned? Or merely enjoying the view?
Lady Avalie, good evening. I'm waiting for someone.
Well, how positively unkind letting a fine lady such as yourself wait. If you point them out, I shall be happy to reprimand them for you.
Feeling, as always, a little overwhelmed by the pure force that was Lady Avalie, you smile and murmur your thanks.
By happy coincidence, I'm already waiting to meet up with someone, a certain charmer with quite the reputation from Corval as it happens.
There's only one person matching that description, and he was the person you were supposed to meet. Was there some sort of mistake? Had Prince Zarad invited you both and not bothered to tell either one? Either one of you? Conjuring also the possibility of completing ridiculous secret demon-possessed twin. There is no point in wondering about all sorts of nonsensical scenarios. The truth would end up being the truth, and that wouldn't change anything. After sensing your hesitation, Lady Avalie smiles wolfishly at you and leans closer.
And who are you waiting for, Lady Inez?
Although her expression, her posture, and her tone of voice all read friendly and harmless, you can't shake the feeling that she knows exactly how awkward and confusing she is making the situation.
That would be me. Good evening, Lady Avalie. Lady Inez. I'm deeply sorry to be late, and I was inexcusably held up.
Lady Avalie smiles brightly at you both, making sure to Prince Zarad a flirtatious look through her thick, dark lashes.
A shame you are otherwise occupied. Next time you want a partner to skulk around the dark with, I hope you will keep me in mind.
Laughing, she walks off, leaving the pair of you alone. Prince Zarad smiles at you, but you can tell something is different than before. You spend an enjoyable evening together as you flirt shamelessly, but the calculating look in his eye that he had during your conversation and during his brief interaction with Lady Avalie is gone. Have you eaten dinner ba? Yes, I have eaten dinner. I'm just replying to someone real quick. How about you, Suki? Have you eaten na? Alright. We're back. You spend an enjoyable evening together, and he flirts shamelessly, but the calculating look in his eye that he had during your conversation and during his brief interaction with Lady Avalie is gone.
You have not yet eaten. Go eat. Go get something to eat. Why later? Eat now. It's dinner time now.
You can't help but feel you have failed some sort of test, as such, he no longer shows you any of his true intentions. He wraps up your evening early and escorts you back to your room.
No, what did I do? What did I do to Prince Zarad?
It turns into a frustrating night, but at the very least you think you are a little more politically savvy for your troubles. A new day. Wind day. Study to improve your abilities. Eloquence. You spend some time practicing public speaking in the mirror. Tinatamad pa ako kumuha ng pagkain. Bakit ka tinatamad kumuha lang ng pagkain? That is the one thing you should not be lazy to do. May bad endings ba to? It was implied that we can die. And I'm assuming by die, it means that we will be poisoned or assassinated or something like that if we piss off the right people, right? If we piss off the wrong people, then that's gonna happen, right? You return to your room from a late luncheon only to realize something is off about your room. If there was anything in the room you were confident you could track and identify changes, it would be a pile of rare books you have borrowed from the Isle Library. You had studied each and every volume, traced to every corner, and smelled every book. Namamatay ka na ba? No, I haven't tried this yet. When I played this years ago, I did. There's two modes. There's a challenge mode and a story mode. And in the story mode, you can't die. In the challenge mode, you can possibly die, and things are gonna be a lot harder. So that's so I did story mode before, and I ended up with Princess Anna. Now I'm gonna try challenge mode because it's more exciting. Something had been added to your pile. You were certain, beyond all reasonable doubt. Heading to your desk, you pulled off a white, strange, leather white-bound book that was completely unfamiliar to you. You opened it so cautiously, only to realize every page was blank. The only thing of interest you found in the entire book was a sealed letter that fell out of the book when you shook it. Oh, ang cool. Mas cool ka. Gia. If you are reading this letter, then you have completely disregarded our advice and had not given up your spot on the delegation. We are disappointed at this turn of events because it seems like a waste of promising, intelligent young lady. It is a pity, but we are still obligated to hold our promise, or else no one will be able to trust our word again. We hope you had said all your goodbyes before leaving for the Isle. You will never be seeing your homeland or any other land for that matter again. Your mind races as it struggles to take a piece of this new information and add it to a neat categories of your mind. So someone threatened to kill your cousin if she didn't give up her spot on the delegation? Of course, you can't send someone married as a delegate. It was clearly a logical solution, as expected from your cousin, a top scholar. But if they were so skilled as to be able to successfully threaten your cousin, how had their information not anticipated the possibility that you would be selected to take her place? It seemed illogical that having you attend the delegation in her place was their desired outcome, but it was a perfectly logical one. More than logical, since it was what happened, and surely whoever had plotted this contemptible threat would have time to learn that not all secret fact. What a very strange puzzle you have been presented, one that made very little logical sense at all. Well, at the very least, it would give you an interesting problem to contemplate and solve while you're stuck moving from obligation to another. Like the one you had a sinking realization you were already running late for. The sun streams brightly through your bedroom window, and you watch the beams dance across the floor in your bed, feeling lazy. That, of course, exactly when Jasper clears his throat. It seems our schedule is empty for the rest of the day. I suggest we take advantage of this opportunity and go over to what you intend to say for your self-introduction. You groan, well familiar by how much of a taskmaster Jasper can be when he sets his mind to it. But just as you are about to resign yourself to your inescapable fate, your door flies open and Hamin of Heis, pirate prince extraordinaire, his eyes twinkling with mischief, dances into your room, uninvited and unannounced. Glitter! Glitter! Let's play! Jasper frowns at your invader very, very sternly, his impassive expression filled with even more almost imperceptible disapproval than when you've done something he finds especially egregious. Lady Inez is currently otherwise engaged. I suggest in the future, if you wish to speak to her, you arrange an appointment and refrain from barging into her bedroom in such an unwelcome and inappropriate manner. Amin seems completely unfazed by Jasper's disapproving speech and just grins. But I did make an appointment. Inez has agreed to go exploring with me. Jasper frowns slightly, which is basically a full-on angry glare for normal people. After passing on my lady's agreement, I did inquire to your butler as for details to a specific time and locale. When I heard nothing in return, I simply assumed you had changed your mind. Of course not. I'm not bound and determined to play my heart-stealing Lady Glitter. It is more fun when a surprise, though. Wouldn't you say, Ines? As you might imagine, Lady Inez's schedule is quite full. She has other obligations for this evening. Perhaps you can reschedule for another day. The way he said it had let no one in doubt that he didn't actually want to or plan to accept such a rescheduling. She already agreed to go exploring with me, and in any case, I think she can make up her own mind. Suddenly, both of their attention is focused intently on you. It's clear you are going to have to make a choice. You did agree to go exploring with Hammond, and even if he and his butler hadn't made arrangements in a way that satisfied Jasper, but if you go, you are sure Jasper isn't going to be happy with you and you can use some more preparation. But if you don't go, Hammond will be disappointed and it'll sort of feel like going back on your word and your relationship might not recover. I will go exploring with Hammond. Jasper, by his position as your butler, is kind of contractually obligated to forgive you. More or less, Hammond, as a pirate prince, is not, and you did agree to go with him. Besides, you think there is probably a lot more potential for fun with Hammond than an irritated, serious Jasper. Maybe it is best to accept the escape. Sorry, Jasper, we'll have to work on this another night. I did agree to go exploring with Prince Hammond. Hammond breaks into a big, great grin, while Jasper sighs in resignation, that you think might be a little bit disappointed. Jasper is left blinking at your back as Hammond happily grabs your wrist and drags you behind him as he charges out of your room. I'm terribly sorry. But I must confess something. I selfishly already explored anything of interest in the guest hall. On our left, we have almost indistinguishable guest rooms. On our right, more of the same. In fact, the only interesting thing at the whole hall is the guests. Particularly, you, Glitter. Well, not the only interesting thing, I have to confess. The expressions on people's faces when you barge into their rooms unannounced is quite interesting. You know, from a scientific viewpoint, especially the butlers. A stiffer lot I have never met. Always going on about what is appropriate and what we need to do to succeed in the summit and just stop horrifying the matchmaker and making people cry. Well, that last part might just be me. Apparently, I am a laundress's nightmare. A balance of people, even if it's the butlers you find wearingly serious. I don't know. I don't know what sort of... I admire people like Jasper. Personally, I find you both a different type of unpleasant. Ah, Glitter. You resort to using pretty words as well. A girl like you is dangerous. Just when a fellow thinks he's in charge, he wakes up one day to realize he's been led by a siren all the while. You frown at the unflattering compliment, and he laughs cheerfully. You reach the end of the guest hall and make your way to the big open central corridors when in front of you, Hammond stops and spins around so abruptly that all you can do not to run smack into his chest. Paying no attention to the potential accident, he grins and goes fishing in one of his many pockets. Oh, I almost forgot. What are you? He triumphantly pulls out a sparkling hazel stone that is liberally speckled with glistening gold flecks. I found this when I was exploring the grounds, and of course, instantly thought of you. Fine present for a fine lady. You have good enough manners to accept the gift with thanks, but what do you really think of it? I think giving me a stone the color of my eyes is romantic. If he's gonna shower me with gifts, I think it should be at least be approved. The symbolism, I appreciate the symbolism more than if he gave me boring and practical. Plus, I can already think of a few interesting. Of course, I'm deserving of gifts, really. He grins, evidently pleased with your thanks, and happily leads the way further into the palace. Leading you out a half-hidden door, you exit the palace for a strange courtyard you've never seen before. For someone who is supposed to be exploring, you seem to know exactly where you're going. I confess, I cheated on you. I have been bored the past few days. I have already explored pretty much anywhere interesting there is to see. But don't worry, I plan to bring to you all the best spots. And then, I can look especially manly and attractive, because I will already know everything and get to show off my many, many charms. He winks at you, and he takes the sleeve of your dress, pinches it between his fingers, and tugs you onwards and up the outdoor staircase that looks like it hasn't seen regular use since the days of Katya herself. Hammond throws open an ill-cared-for door with enough force that you are surprised the rickety-looking thing doesn't break, and gestures you inside to a slightly dusty hallway. Large open windows dot the hallway, letting light stream in and illuminate the otherwise dark stairs at the end of the hall. Hammond's eyes sparkle with excitement, and he leans toward you and speaks in his most "I'm sharing a dramatic secret" voice. This is the Forbidden Wing. Why is it forbidden? I haven't figured it out yet. I've just heard all the natives call it that. But doesn't it sound interesting? This sounds exactly like the kind of place to have a proper adventure. I've led us thus far, so I'm counting on you, Lady Glitter, to find us the adventure now. Hey, and being in the Forbidden Wing adventure, and I didn't agree to come with you so I could do the work. You're supposed to be the one. He sighs dramatically. You disappoint me, Glitter. If you are always depending on others to be entertained, you are doomed to spend most of your life bored and probably boring. No. I take it back. But the thing is, both these are bad. It bemoans your lack of proper adventuring spirit. You apologize and he grins. Don't worry, Lady Ines. I'm game to procure my own adventure. There's one more place I want to show you, but before that, Amin grins and procures a small blade, one that you're pretty sure he isn't supposed to have. It was hidden somewhere on his person. With a wicked grin, he turns to the wall and starts scratching at the old stone. It's only after he's declared he's finished with his masterpiece that you realize what he was doing. He's carved both your initials onto the wall. There! Now we've added to the mystery of the Forbidden Wing. People will wonder about us and our story for generations to come. Now, come on, Glitter. We must hurry if we want to appreciate my favorite place in the castle before the sun goes down. Before you can protest, you've been dragged through the entire castle to the complete opposite ends of the grounds, through the gardens and into a secluded gazebo. This is your favorite place in the castle? Oh, is it not what you expected? You just don't seem like the gazebo type. I'll admit, Echo, it's been a while since you got a laugh out of me. That was a good one. You just don't seem like the gazebo type. I think I'll spare my ego and ask you not ask you what type I seem like. Yes, this is my favorite place. There's something very peaceful here. I wouldn't say you were the peaceful type either. Because I can't usually find it. Not because I don't appreciate it. It's the same with you, Glitter. You can't usually find me? No. I'm sure if I wanted to, no matter where you went, I could find you. You're like the gazebo. When I'm with you, I feel more at ease somehow. Usually I'm itching to be going or doing, but when I'm with you, I'm fine just being. Sorry, was that strange? It is an odd thing to say. We barely know each other, and I suppose it might not feel like much of a compliment, although I think it is. And a good thing about you, I mean. Oh no, I wanted to see the choices. It is strange, but I wouldn't say the strangest things about you. Oh, I suppose it's the opposite for me. When I'm with you, I don't feel that. I'm glad, even if it's only for a little, makes me happy. For even a sturdy ship who can weather all the storms, need a calm port sometimes. I think we're all somewhat strange. I admire... okay. He flashes a brief, bittersweet smile. You shouldn't say such things, Glitter. It'll make me want to believe you. It would be a heavy job being my harbor. I like you enough that I don't think I would wish it on you. Your wishes won't change mine. I will make my own choices on the matter, thank you. Such a stubborn, strong-willed lady. A dangerous combination if I've ever seen. You must have some of the sea in you. Hopefully not too much. If I'm to be a port, I'd rather not be a flooded one. Glitter. I've had fun with you today. I didn't want to come to the summit, you know. My father insisted, but being trapped in a small castle on a small island, unable to leave and sail the sea, free with the winds, forced to be a better version of myself. He sighs and trails off, staring into space. He's silent for a minute, before smiling and turning back to you. But, meeting you, I'm beginning to suspect it might have all made it worth it. You are making my own stay much more bearable yourself. How flattering. It's far much too much responsibility placed on me, Hammond. You never know. Maybe the winds blew you to meet me for a reason. Someone has learned somewhat of the sayings of ice, I see. Be careful. Dip your toes in the ocean. It won't be long before you're departing your lands for a ship and becoming a proper pirate like the rest of us. Talking like that, you make it sound so tempting. Oh, cruelties! To speak of temptation so lightly, as if you are unaware of the great temptation you represent. Fate may yet prove a cruel mistress. Just like the winds? Yes, exactly like. Amin gives a short, theatrical sigh before jumping gracefully to his feet. The sun has no respect for our fun and is already threatening to set. I suppose I had best return to your butler Sirius before he arranges to have me assassinated out of pure annoyance. But fear not, fair glitter. I shall steal you away from him again. You can count on it. Wiping any of the slight, out of character melancholy he showed in the gazebo, Amin cheerfully escorts you back to your room, dancing along the hallways, seemingly no less energetic than for the late hour. Deciding it wise to leave before Jasper could catch him for another lecture, he waves and hurries off. His departure as much a storm as his arrival. The Prince of Heist is a strange man, but you have a feeling you saw a side of him tonight that few ever suspected, let alone glimpsed. Prince Hammond says that kind of shit to me. I'll teach him David. Sure. If nothing else, watching the way he explored and climbed through all the back ways of the castle had taught you a few things. Not that they would be considered ladylike, but you imagined they might prove useful all the same. Yay! We did a forbidden adventure! Jesper looks up at the moment you enter his room. It's obvious that he's been waiting intensely for your return. He doesn't say much, but he suggests it's been a long day and you should retire to bed. You thank him, his expert butlery disapproval making you feel a little guilty about the whole thing. Earth Day. New day dawns. Only 3 days remain until self-introductions. Let us ask someone for skill advice, skulk the castle with Hamin, practice dancing, cunning. We need cunning. You spend time reading novels about pirates and other cunning figures. Okay. You were unable to avoid the accepting invitation to late afternoon tea with Princess Jaslyn and her favorites, among who you are now convinced are the most gossipy set of delegates the Isle has ever seen. On the whole, you considered the affair one of great waste of time, for what use is there in knowing in greater detail than you had ever wished to? The various types of undergarments used by the Scalt warriors, or what color stockings is fashionable in the Welland court, or who was waking up in their neighbors in the middle of the night practicing their violin. There was one bit of gossip, however, that seemed interesting. Not that anyone came out and said it, but it appears there are two factions among the Revere delegates, and they don't get along at all. Of course, there was no one so helpful as to explain their differences seemed to be. Oh well, there's plenty of time to worry about such things later. For now, you have things to do. I think we need more eloquence. Because, yeah, the point, self-introductions are tomorrow. Yeah, I think we need more eloquence because of I'd roleplay as a female Gustavus Adolphus in that game. How would that work? I think I need more eloquence because we're gonna do self introductions, and another is we have the thing coming up, right? We have the musicale running up. So I think eloquence is of great thing to us. But I think we did eloquence already, so we can practice dancing. We don't know if it's something that all butlers learn, but Jasper moves so gracefully when he's doing day-to-day tasks. While he helps you practice dancing, you can feel him rubbing off on you, at least a little. Sometimes it seems as if you're destined to be cursed with unfortunate seat partners. Perhaps you've inadvertently angered whoever the staff was in charge of seating charts. Jasper is setting up another pile of improving books for you to read, so you decide to ask him. No, I think I should have heard of it if you had displeased Mrs. White. Why do you ask? What happened at dinner this time? You sigh heavily. I had to stop a Scout warrior from stabbing a Welland lord with her dinner knife. Would they really be giving Scouts such sharp weapons at the dinner table? Jasper blinked at you, the sides of his mouth twitching a very little. You sighed again, remembering again what was supposed to be a pleasant dinner escalated into chaos and near murder. The musicale? Just get Ryan Evans to direct and choreography, maybe. I think Welland are also let me relationships. That's Corval, right? Is it Earl Emmett? No, Emmett is Arland. These are the Revere. These are the Corval. This is the Corval. This is the Ahais. Wait. Relationships. So Prince Lyle. Okay, so it's the normie people who are part of It's the normie people who are the part of Wellin. Okay. Okay. Just needed to remember. Oh wait, the Princess Gisette hates us? Oh, she still has respect for us. Princess Anael, okay. We have a lot of friendship, rivalry, and romance. Oh, romance is high. Princess Lyle, we're friends. Prince Hammond, ooh, lots of romance. Lots of respect. Prince Zarad, a little bit of romance, little more respect. Prince Jarod, we have large rivalry, little bit of respect. Duke Lion, lots of friendship, little bit of romance. Same amount of friendship and romance, lots of respect. Lord Claremont, lots of friendship. Oh no, Lord Claremont, please, you're a good boy. I love nice guys. Earl Emmett, no, absolutely nothing. Princess Penelope, look, we're so much friends with Princess Penelope. Cordelia, a little bit of rivalry, a little bit of respect. Avalie, lots of respect, same amount of friendship and rivalry. Lord Blaine, oh wow, we are not allowed to be, we're just all rivals at this point. Rhea, larger. Oh, we can romance, apparently. Okay. Alright. Unnatural. What did you mumble about, all poofy panted one? One of your endless boring comments on the weather, perhaps? Well, I said it's positively unnatural. A blight against the gods. What is a blight against your weak gods? It's not our gods, it is the gods. The only true gods. Only you heathens in Skull, GL, and Heist are so ignorant and misguided to think differently. Your puny gods are not our gods, therefore there must be other gods. Unnatural heathen! This is what comes from allowing women into the domains of the gods decreed for men. If it were up to me, Wellen would invade your post-haste and put all your unnatural creatures under rightful leadership of good husbands so you can live in the kitchens and domestic sphere where you truly belong. Surely the king, in his divine wisdom, will recognize the need to spread his father's truth to such a forsaken land and lead us to God's blessed victory against your people soon. And that's about when her face turned purple with rage and she lunged at him with the dinner knife. You rubbed your head, just remembering the pounding headache that had caused. Yes, it's no surprise they cannot get along. The two nations are truly on the brink of war. We can only hope that somehow they find a way to negotiate peace during the summit. Otherwise, it is doomed to be war for sure. You hope that the war, if it begins, won't be started by someone stabbing someone sitting next to you at the dinner table, but after tonight, your hopes weren't exactly optimistic. In any case, you refused to let them ruin your evening. You still had plans. Let's keep doing eloquence. I knew they done. Self-introductions are today. Today's the day of your event. Your week had been so busy you can hardly believe you had time to pull it together, but you did. Finally, the preparations are done, although you had to wake up extremely early this morning, far before the sun, to ensure it. It's no small miracle, especially considering the fact that you also have to do your self-introductions later to worry about. Jesper, who you think got even less sleep than you did, walks up and nods at you gravely. We finally have a head count for today's attendance. Princess Anael has sent her regrets she will not be attending today. No! You highly doubt that was the way the Scout Princess had phrased your refusal. Prince Hammond has enthusiastically accepted your invitation to the musicale. Prince Zarad has agreed to attend the musicale. Lord Claremont has regretfully declined your invitation. Princess Penelope has sent her pleased acceptance. Lady Avalie has accepted your invitation. Princess Cordelia has sent her polite regrets. Princess Jaslyn has declined your invitation. So 4 people have accepted your invitation and will join you for your musicale. The small ensemble you hired had already arrived at the aisle and is already warming up in the practice room when you arrive. You already feel yourself being drawn into their performance before they had even properly begun. You think it'll be a good performance. You barely have time to flutter about with Jasper, making sure your musicians are all well set up, that the seating is comfortable and everything is ready before your guests start to arrive. More people refused your invitation than accepted. It's not going to do much for your reputation, but it's not going to do much damage either. You have a small amount of time to welcome and chat with your guests before the music is set to begin. Do you want to? Or would you prefer to allow them to chit-chat amongst themselves? I want to talk to them personally. You welcome your guests cheerfully and spend a little time talking to them, making sure they find their seats. They all look a little happier than they did before you talk to them. The music starts and your guests quickly hush to listen. The ensemble is quite talented. The music draws you and your guests in. You don't quite forget that you are in a music room listening to a performance, but it's enjoyable all the same. The music halts for a brief intermission. How do you want to use this time? You actually have an amazing amount of intelligent and interesting things to say and point out. You can tell your conversation has significantly improved your guests' enjoyment of the music. The music soon resumes, hushing conversation as everyone once again focuses their attention on the performance. You are just beginning to truly relax and enjoy yourself, forgetting about the self-introductions later in the day. When the music comes to a close, soon it'll be time for your guests to leave and prepare for the rest of their day. But first, it is traditional for you to publicly thank any musician who performed at your event. You rise to your feet, find yourself stumbling over the right words to say. Soon, your guests are clapping loudly, more to drown out your failures than to agree with your appreciation. The music at an end, your guests chat with one another a little, but one by one, they drift to you to give you their goodbyes. Prince Zarad walks up, gives you a flirtatious wink. It was an interesting morning, Lady Inez, although I would have preferred to spend the time without anyone else trying to take away your attention. Princess Penelope smiles sweetly at you.
Thank you for inviting me, Lady Inez. I'm glad we are getting the chance to know one another better.
Lady Avalie gives you an inexplicable smile.
Thank you so much for your invitation, Lady Inez. I always find events like this so illuminating, don't you?
Hammond grins at you mischievously.
Hello, Glitter. I'm glad you invited me. If there's one thing I miss when I'm on my ship, it is proper music. Still, next time, let's sneak off and do something a little more adventurous, shall we?
And as the last guest leaves, so ends your duties as hostess. Your first event is done, but how do you think you did? Your musicale went alright? You're an average hostess. Jesper comes up to you, a slight crease in his brow. Lady Inez, there's been a small hiccup in the preparations for self-introductions. Accordingly, they have been delayed, leaving us with some unexpected free time before you are due. Your expression had me expecting your news to be dour, but extra time seems like an excellent thing to me. Perhaps it is. He still seems pensive, which leads you to wonder what is truly going on. In any case, you have enough time to worry about it, and you aren't about to look at a gift of extra time to prepare or explore in the mouth. Eloquence. You spend some time public speaking in the mirror. Excuse me. Jesper had made no further mention of what had delayed the self-introduction, but as he led you to a big open room with a makeshift podium and an audience made mostly of empty chairs, you could only assume it had been resolved. Servants aren't allowed to stay in the main room, but I will be watching from the viewing room. I will come to collect you as soon as the event is finished. He doesn't wish you good luck, although you can tell by his reassuring smile that he hopes you do well. Then he leaves and you are alone, but not for long. Lady Avalie soon joins you, watching as your contemporaries file in with a bemused smirk.
Good evening, Lady Inez. You think we shall be lucky tonight?
Sorry?
You are right. It is highly unlikely I will have any such luck. I imagine at least half the delegates are in love with the sound of their own voices. After our mysterious delay, I won't be surprised if we are stuck here listening to everyone's grand ambitions and fondness of fruit pudding until just before daybreak. Before you have the opportunity to respond to that, Grand Duke, Woodley walks up to the pair of you, his eyes twinkling with a strange emotion you can't place, but a placid expression on his face.
Well, what do we have here but two early birds?
I hope you are implying we are swans, Your Grace. Not something like pigeons hoping to eat worms.
Do pigeons even eat worms?
You should know, it is your analogy.
So, what do you think, Lady Inez? Are you swans or pigeons?
Why, I hope you don't expect me to admit being a bird, Your Grace. Think of my reputation. They both oblige you by bursting into surprised laughter.
I am pleased to run into you, Lady Inez. How are you enjoying your stay at the Isle? Keeping busy? I swear we have not seen hide nor hair of you all week.
And again with the beastly analogies, Your Grace. Lady Inez is a lady. You must think of her delicate feelings.
I wasn't aware of being female automatically cursing you with delicate emotional constitutions. It is usually quite the reverse in my opinion, but you distract me. Lady Avali, I will not allow it. Lady Inez.
I am enjoying my stay very well, and you, Your Grace. You notice his eyebrow rise infinitesimally.
You forget, it is not my first stay at the Isle, nor is it my time in the spotlight. Your concern is sweet, but unnecessary.
It is hard to feel entirely comfortable when wedged into the conversation between Grand Duke Woodley and Lady Avali. So when you realize that during your little chat, most of the delegates have filed in and taken their seats, you feel a little bit of relief. Especially if, as Lady Avali fears, this evening is going to take a long time. You would really rather get it started. You are ushered to free a seat by a servant who keeps shooting the head butler nervous glances. After you and everyone else had successfully seated, another servant comes around with a basket full of rocks. Every delegate pulls a number to find a number painted. You pull number 42, which means you will be one of the last delegates to introduce yourself. You don't know which you would consider luckier, if no one is asleep by the time you go or if they all are. Duke Leon had the distinction to pull number 1, but by the bitter expression on his face, you would think he was being marched up to his execution, not an introduction.
I am Duke Leon of GL.
After the abrupt announcement, the Duke promptly stalks off and plops back into his seat. Lady Avali leans over to whisper to you, her eyes twinkling with amusement.
If all the introductions are like that, we might get out of here at a reasonable hour after all.
They aren't all like that. Some of them are so long and boring you have to pinch yourself to stay awake. No measures are necessary when Princess Anael stomps to the podium and grins.
I am Anael of Skelt, warrior of first ranking, and happy to be here among all these pretty peoples, even if you do have so many rules and stiffy stuffness. I plan on using the summit to battle for Lady Inez's heart and bring her back to Skelt with me.
After that bald pronouncement, Princess Anna grins wider and dances back to her seat.
Lady Anna, love you.
The poor delegate from Ireland that was forced to follow the princess's short speech forgot half her words and spent miserable 5 minutes stuttering, as if it didn't help that Anna kept sending her winks and the skulls whistled at her blushes. The head butler cleared his throat disapprovingly, and the business of the introductions continued again with something better resembling propriety. Princess Gisette was especially well decked out for the self-introductions, and gave her speech with a perfect poise and a small smile painted on her face. She gave you a stiff smile and bared her teeth into a sharp smile as she passed you on her way back to her seat. Princess Penelope was chosen to follow the Princess Gisette, and that fact made her even look more nervous than normal. She stuttered and flushed while introducing herself to the room. You catch her eye and smile reassuringly, and she breaks into such a brilliant, relieved smile, she charms the room entirely incidentally. Amin somehow manages to use a self-introduction to pull off some sleight of hand, and he declares his purpose into coming to appreciate treasure, especially the kind that glitters. You realize that he has managed to pull a golden rose in your hair without anyone noticing. Lady Avali gave you a pointed smile as it was her turn to go up, and somehow she managed to say a lot during her introduction without actually saying anything at all. Returning to her seat next to you, she gives you a nod.
Well, that wasn't as hard as I was expecting. Certainly not as hard as some of the fellow delegates make it seem. If I start to doze off, make sure you wake me up before you go. I am very curious to hear your introduction.
Of course, Lady Avali doesn't look even a little bit tired and is watching and listening to all the introductions avidly. Needing to wake her up is probably out of the question. You struggle to keep your expression serene and your eyes open. Most of the people you have gotten to know had already gone, and now you are forced to listen to dull introduction after dull introduction. You aren't the only one who is struggling. Prince Jared's expression grows darker and darker as his irritation grows. Finally, when the next delegate stands up to go, the prince grabs the rock out of his hand, shoves his second to the last one in exchange, and stomps irritably to the podium.
I can't imagine there's anyone here who doesn't know who I am. But we were told we have to introduce ourselves, and I've been informed there are no exceptions. I am the next king of Revere, here for the purpose of diplomacy.
The prince nods imperiously and walks back to his seat. Thankfully, for the health of the red of the face of the outraged head butler, after Prince Jarrod, no one else did anything the least bit objectionable. Then, both after what felt like forever and no time at all, it was your turn. You stand up after the 41st person has gone and feel all eyes on you. You practically see as the more appearance conscious of the delegates analyze your dress, your hair, your style and appearance. You don't think you have met their standards. Make your way back to the podium and turn to the face of tens of people staring back at you. Thankfully, you have enough poise to remain composed even under the watch of so many impatient eyes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lady Inez from GL. Did you add anything further to your introduction? Yes, of course. Tell the crowd a relevant fact. You mentioned something about the past summit that draws the interest of your audience. How's my charm? Okay, we're not that charming. Our eloquent could still use. Our charisma is not that high. We have big courage. I don't know if that helps us with anything. We have enough poise. Oh, we have a good enough quick-wittedness and charisma. I think let's try a joke. If the joke doesn't work, then make the crowd laugh. You use your quick wit to make the audience laugh. That's it. Nothing else. Satisfied you have introduced yourself to your own satisfaction, you prepare to sit back down when you're interrupted by a question.
Oh, don't sit down yet, Lady Inez. You haven't told us yet what you are hoping to achieve at the summit.
Enough people are looking at you with echoing curiosity that you have a feeling you won't be able to get out of answering. That doesn't mean you have to tell the truth, however. Not gonna lie, I thought that was a dude. Who? A Princess Avalie? How do you answer? They are going for the Mulan route. GL is supposed to be like the Asian country. Chillin'. What's up, Frozen? What's up, Seraph? I hope to best serve my nation. I came to the Isle looking for love. I intend to find my future spouse. I hope to further the relationship between my nation and other nations. I seriously thought she was a guy. Damn, dude. I wish to help great. My only ambition is to witness history as it is made. I hope to best serve my nation. Are you lying? No, that really is my ambition. You pause after your answer. Sounds like Avatar. You pause after your answer, waiting to see if anyone else is going to surprise you with a question. When they do not, you start to walk back to your seat. Although you were put on the spot, you think you managed to answer and introduce yourself eloquently enough to be understood. The good part about being one of the last delegates is that you don't have to wait long before the evening is over and you can finally escape to your own room and your welcoming bed. As you lie in bed, attempting to fall asleep, you think about your second major challenge since you arrived at the summit and how you think you did. Your self-introduction went rather miserably. What? What? What do you mean it went miserably? Oh! Challenge epic failure. What? Still, thinking about it any further would only ensure you manage to get no sleep at all. So you put it from your mind and drift off to sleep with the final waking thought that you finished off your first week at the summit. Congratulations on finishing your first week on Vale Isle. It's been a very busy week, with many things happening. Like meeting the matchmaker. That's right. Exactly. It's unfortunate, but you don't think there's anything you could have done to make her like you any better. By the way, how do you feel about that? I'll tell it. I'll just determined to do better and prove her wrong. Good luck. I hope that goes well for you. And you have met many different people. Yes, so many that sometimes I can't keep track of them all and forget who is who. Thankfully you've been taking notes in your journal. That should help with that. Of all the people you've met here in the Isle, has any of them struck your fancy? Just one? I'm ready to build a harem. Oh really? I hope for your sake you're thinking the same. Still, it's only been 1 week. You have 6 more to go. And if the first was any indication, you were in for quite the time. Are you feeling prepared to face all the challenges ahead of you? Bring it on! I admire your spirit. I hope your skills live up to it. While I have your attention, I should warn you. Next, you slip into a proper deep sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, you've forgotten all about your strange dream. And that is where I am going to stop for today. I know that some of you just got here, but I think that's enough. We have finished the first week of this game. We have 7 more weeks to go, which means we still have a lot to go through. So let's review what we've done, right? Yeah, let's just go through the relationships. We are big into Anael, right? Like, I feel like Anael is kind of scripted to be a big part of the thing and be like one of the default waifus that you could get, right? Prince Lyle, I mean, okay, the Wellin people are kind of supposed to be like the super neutral ground, and like they're supposed to be neutral and like, you know what, but they're also like very religious, which makes them like kind of, yeah, it makes them kind of disagree with a lot of the other with GL in particular, GL and Heis, for example, and Corval, I think. We have and Scald. Don't worry. So Prince Hamin, we have a big friendship and romance with. He has kind of captured my heart in a way, you know. So, yeah, Prince Hamin is a very charming person. I do like pirates and like ships and stuff like that, so I love his analogies. I love the way he's written. He's a bit of a playboy, but you know, he's kind of a bad boy, but you know, who doesn't like a little bit of a bad boy, you know? Prince Zarad. I was expecting Prince Zarad to be charming. I was expecting him to be kind of nice, but he literally ditched me. And then he did not even stay to go stargazing with me. He appeared late and then he left me. Prince Zarad, you have broken my heart. Prince Jared, we hate Prince Jared with all our heart. I know he has an Edward vibe going on about him, and I don't like Edward, so you know, we don't like him. Princess Gisette is also kind of like, if there was like a female Edward who wasn't romantic and was just a bitch, that would be Gisette. So there, but we do have some sort of weird respect for each other. I think they just respect me because I'm smart, but other than that, like, they can use that, like, you know, they're the kind of people to like manipulate. Like, they're really good at like manipulating people. Jared much less so. I think he's just like kind of controlling. Duke Leon is a nerd, and we kind of like him because he's a nerd, but do you think we need to talk to him more about that kind of thing, right? Lord Claremont is a good boy. I want to talk to him more. Oh, come on, Lord Claremont, please. Not to mention he's from Revere. So, excuse me. But Lord Claremont is from Revere, which Prince Jared and Prince Jesset is also from Revere. So I'm thinking that like if this country is going to attack me, if I'm at least in good relationship with Lord Claremont, we won't be at war. Earl Emmett, Ireland. Also highly religious country, kind of sort of like, what's the difference between Ireland and Welland? I don't know, but Earl Emmett seems to be kind of like, I don't know, seems to be a casual dude. I think I will like him if I get to talk to him. Let's try doing that in the next session. Princess Penelope, we are good friends with Princess Penelope. Sadly, we cannot romance her, but we are really good friends. We are really good friends. She is a sweetheart. Princess Cordelia is kind of like she's also from Heis, and you know, we're in good terms with Hamin, but Cordelia is kind of like, you know, she's how do you say this? She's more refined, she's more princessy, even though she's coming from the country of pirates, and I think she came here assuming that she will be with more respectable company. But but you know, maybe we don't live up to her standards, but I still kind of want to like get on her good side, you know. Lady Avalie looks like, even though we're not that much friends and more rivals than friends, and like we have a lot of respect for each other, it seems like Lady Avali seems to approach me for a lot of different things. It might just be because we're both from GL, so there's that, right? We have Lord Blaine, who really hates us, and we really hate him. And then there's our two servants, Ria. I don't know why there's a romance meter here. Like, can I get in with the servant? I feel like that's wrong in a lot of cases. There's something wrong about that. There's also Syra, right? We can also, I guess, we can also woo. No, we're just friends. Oh no, we're just friends. There's no romance, but there's that, and that is where we're going to save our game, and move on. Right? Oh no, back, please, back. Okay. Right. And that is where I'm going to end my stream. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around, thanks for stopping by. Always remember, you can do anything you put your mind to. Believe in me who believes in you. You know what? We don't have a lot of viewers, but you know, for old time's sake, we should go on a raid. Who can we raid today? Yes. Sure thing, Suki-chan. I miss you too. Ooh, it looks like Ponder is also doing something. Ponder seems like he's doing something spicy. Okay, I think we're going to raid our good friend Ponderkind. It's been a while since I've gotten back into the streaming space, and I think yeah, he's also doing a thing called 10 dates, and it seems like it's gonna be a fun time. You guys are gonna love Ponder. He's a great guy. All right, guys. Again, one more time. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for stopping by. Always remember, you can do anything you put your mind to. Believe in me who believes in you. And yeah. Buy your own coffee from the Palenque. It's always cheaper than buying coffee from like Starbucks or whatever. And say hi to Ponder for me. For now, bye.
Here we go. That's what I get for getting Ricky Dicky random. I mean, we might as well just try firing it. Oh my goodness, why? Is there a safety on this thing? No? Nope. There we go. Have to cock it and then... This gun, I swear. You know what? We'll use it for one. We'll do one kill with it. We'll do at least one kill. Oh shh! You tried to stab me. Did you see that? You tried to stab me. The nerve of them.
Okay. Yeah. I want to see for myself, if you don't mind. Oh, I failed my sword jump. I am not a pirate. I lied to you this whole time. I'm not Pirate Legend. I haven't even finished the Maiden Voyage.
Hip.
As is custom.